What are three strategies that will absolutely supercharge your podcast launch and your podcast growth? Don't leave. Stick around, even if you're already an existing podcaster, because I guarantee you're going to learn something in this episode that you may not have learned before. Welcome back to As It Relates to Podcasting. My name is Simona, and I'm very excited to have you on the podcast today. Or if you're watching this on YouTube, thank you for tuning in. Be sure to hit follow wherever you are so that we can continue to create this incredible content for you that you can continue to learn and implement into your own podcast process. So like I said, we're going to be talking about three different strategies that you can implement in your launch and growth of your podcast. Let's start with strategy number one. The first thing is nailing your branding and your positioning. You have to nail your branding and your positioning right from the start. This means getting crystal clear on your niche, on your tone, on your angle, and who your ideal listener is. One thing that I like to do, and one place that I like to start, is by developing a mission statement for your podcast. When you have a mission statement for your podcast, you can now take that and you can flow that into all other areas of your show. Now, if you're listening to this and you're like, but Simona, I've already started my podcast. What can I possibly do to fix this or to change it? I wouldn't worry too much about it. Go back to the basics, go back and answer the questions that I'm going to ask you today and see if there's any room for development, any room for growth. The next thing you want to do is do some research. You want to send out surveys. You want to join online communities in your niche. You want to see what problems people are dealing with. What are those burning questions that they have? What are they asking? And how can you solve it? Having this data will shape your show's direction, the content, the quality of the content, and what you're creating. Once you know your angle, everything else will fall into place. From your cover art to naming your episodes to having content out there that is grabbing attention. Having a consistent brand voice and visual identity is super, super key. Your show format really matters too. So will it be interviews? Will it be solo shows? Is it going to be a hybrid? Map out, right? I want you to map out how you're going to structure each episode to deliver maximum value to your listener. If you're listening to this and you're like, well, Simona, how do I do that? I invite you to do two things. The first thing is free. Come join my Facebook community where we talk about this in there all the time. And number two, you can join my podcast Success Vault, which is my membership where we also go way, way, way deeper. And I give you actual resources that you can take so you can implement it right away. The links for both of those are in the notes below. Strategy number two is leveraging your existing audience. If you already have an audience, whether it's an email list, blog, social media, a Substack, you're sitting on an absolute gold mine for your podcast launch and for your continued promotion. You want to let people know that you have a new show and you want to give them a way to subscribe so that they can get updates. So you can do this through email marketing, for example, and having a landing page on your website or wherever it is that you want to put it. Having a landing page is super, super key. You can also, through that, offer exclusive bonus content as an incentive to get people to come into your world in that way. I want you to look through your existing content as well. Think about the most popular blog series that you've done, or that viral video that took off, or a keynote presentation that you continuously deliver over and over and over again. Those things can all be repurposed and remodeled into a ready-made podcast episode, okay? And once your show is live, you have to promote it. This is the number one thing that I see all the time. Creators don't actually promote their own podcasts. You spend so much time creating the content, so much time getting the show up and running and out there, so much time interviewing guests and doing your research that you don't promote it afterwards at the end of the day. You want to promote it everywhere that your current audience is. Schedule those social media posts, draft those emails, make those announcements, and make sure that you plug your podcast at every chance you get. The third strategy that I'm going to leave you with today is a little bit left field, but not really. It's pursuing guest appearances and cross promotion. Here's where we talk about getting onto other people's shows. You might be asking why, and I'm going to say it's because their audience is a potential new audience for you. Start researching those podcasts that align with your niche and your different topics. As you're listening to these different episodes, make notes on potential talking points and ways that you can add value as a guest. Once you have your entire list put together, then you can start to pitch yourself to be a guest expert on these different shows. You can find online communities that connect guests and hosts as well. There's a lot of really cool tools that you can check out there. When you do land those different guest spots, make sure that you and the host are both promoting it to each other's audiences. You can even work out a cross promotion with the host or a partnership package to combine marketing efforts in a more significant way. I also want you to consider the value of staying connected and active in podcast communities because it helps you create those deeper relationships for endless opportunities down the line. Okay. So, in conclusion, this is what we have today, those 3 powerful strategies to launch your podcast with momentum and keeping that audience growing. You want to make sure that you're nailing your branding, that you're leveraging your existing audience, and that you're also tapping into different shows and different audiences and different networks through guest appearances so that you can grow your reach and your impact as a byproduct. If you put just one of these tactics into practice today, you're already one step closer to getting in the hands of more listeners and a bigger audience. I want to know which strategy out of the 3 is your priority. Let me know over on Instagram, or even better, come and join me in my Facebook community so we can talk about this. I love to go live. I love to answer questions, and I love to help and teach and strategize. So head on over there and join me there. And if you're feeling called, please feel free to join us in my membership. I would love to have you in there as well. Thanks for listening to today's episode. Be sure to share it with a friend, a podcasting friend, or a creator that needs to hear this message too and that would find this very valuable. Thanks for tuning in. I will see you on the next one.